Hey everybody. So I debated doing a 12-step tarot tonight because I've been getting some messages that have been coming through about someone who is experiencing DV. And those are never comfortable messages, but I think that it's no wonder why it's given to me to give the message because, I've been through it. I know exactly what it feels like, how you slip into this sequence of a toxic relationship, not even realizing that you're being abused at the time. Staying in denial so much that you're scared to leave. Because you're scared to leave, more like it. Having your self-worth be ground down to dust where you feel like there's no choice but to stay. Being convinced that you don't have a skill set that is viable, where you could actually make enough money to support your children when you're on your own. The fact that you suspect that the abuse and the harassment and especially financial abuse is going to get worse once you leave, and then having that confirmed after you do. People who commit domestic violence know what they're doing. They're calculating. They pick people who are good, people who give chance after chance after chance because they believe in their potential. They know what they're doing. They also pick people who are smart, okay? Because you are going to have exactly the right thing to say when their insecurity starts rearing its ugly head, so that you can be the support pillar and take on their emotional baggage for you. So if this is a person out there who's watching this who is struggling with deciding whether you're going to leave or not, that's entirely up to you, and I will not judge you if you don't, because I know personally exactly how hard it is to be held hostage for years and have to put on a mask and smile to everyone around you, try to convince them that your life is great. I am one of the lucky ones who got out. I am one of the lucky ones who got a support in the way that I needed from my father. He single-handedly financed my ability to get away. Thank God for him. I hope that he lives the rest of his life in the most luxurious, abundant ass, wealthy freaking state. Seriously. He deserves all of the good things. But the message, the uncomfortable message that had been coming through is the fact that the person who is making that decision is looking to other people in order to kind of rescue them and help them out. And I am here to tell you that the minute my ability to leave was cemented from an emotional standpoint was the moment I realized that there was absolutely no one coming to help me physically. My dad was across the country. The only thing he could do was send money. And I had an attorney who said that I should flee back from Georgia to South Dakota, and maybe I should have taken that advice. I do not know, but here we are today. So the message was no human being is coming to save you. You have to get up and save yourself. You have got to swallow the fear of what is about to come, because you know your intuition's going off. You know exactly what's about to happen. And the statistics show that the most dangerous point in a relationship that involves domestic violence is when the woman decides to leave or the man decides to leave. I think it's leaning more toward women leaving than men. But I don't want to pigeonhole and say that men can't be physically abused, because I have a very good friend who got murdered by his ex. And she spent many years in prison for what she did to him. So it is not just a woman thing, okay? First and foremost, men can be beaten too. In fact, 40% of the domestic violence rates are women attacking men, okay? So this is not just a woman issue. But knowing that no one's coming to save you and you're about to embark on the most lethal aspect of a toxic relationship in the one that you are in, takes the amount of bravery that I know you have. And I know you have it because I had it. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I didn't know where I was going to go. And unfortunately, when you get out there, you're so vulnerable that predators circle like sharks. They do. And that's whether they're so-called platonic relationships or whether they're romantic relationships, okay? So it's not just, people preying on you for romantic favors. But there are plenty of those, by the way. The people who would use you for what they can get out of you will be circling like sharks. The one bit of hope that I can give you is that once I realized that there was no one who's going to come and save me, and I realized also that I did have this extraordinary opportunity for to get help, because there are some women who were in my position, like not being allowed to work, and every time you try to work or go to school or invest in yourself in any way, you're sabotaged and harassed nonstop. I was very lucky that I did have a father who was well off and could help me monetarily. And there are some women who don't have that advantage, and they are stuck because they can't afford an attorney. If you are Christian, there are ways to go about going to the church and reaching out. Make sure you do your research on the church that you're going to, because there are some that will tell you that you must submit to your husband and you made that decision. But I am the first person to tell you that Jesus never told you that you had to stay in an abusive relationship. So that's number one. Number two, there are churches that will help you. They might help you find shelter, that sort of thing. But you need to prepare yourself to let go of a lot of things. If you have pets, you may need to give them up to the shelter. Trying to keep them will weigh you down, and right now you need to be nimble. And I'm really sorry for anyone who has to do that, because I know what that's like. And it breaks your heart, because those are your babies too. But if you're not Christian, and I don't consider myself of any real Christian denomination other than, like, I go to Unity Church because I really like their progressive way of thinking. And, it makes talk of Jesus palatable for me. However, I'm a pantheist, and I've said this on this channel many times. I believe that they're all pathways home, but because I have that viewpoint, because it has been proven to me time and time again by my higher power, I was therefore excluded from any help from churches. So that is something that you need to be prepared for as well. You may get a lot of advice from women like me who have been through the process on how to protect yourself. Take it. act on it, it may save your life. It may save the lives of your children as well. I was one who could not count on the police department. I tried to report the fact that he had raped me and beaten me. And they told me that because I was an alcoholic, it was my word against his, and they didn't really believe me, despite the fact that I had witnesses at home in the form of my children. They may not have seen anything, but they know I didn't do that to myself. And he still denies that he did that to this day, but the police were of no help at all. The legal system, paying a fortune for an attorney, really didn't do much for me. And at the end of him blocking the divorce because he did not want it, and it wasn't because he loved me, it was because he wanted to save money. And he wanted to, I think he was convinced that I was going to come back, and he was getting way too many benefits from me being under his thumb, and he didn't want to give that up. He loved controlling me. And so he stalled until it was the last minute, and the judge was like, you either make a decision or I make a decision. And I was sitting there at the courthouse looking over my paperwork, knowing I was getting screwed 6 ways from Sunday in my divorce, but my freedom was worth every penny of what I was losing. Okay? Those are the realities of a lucky one who got away. Mine is now in prison, so I don't have to deal with co-parenting with him. And the fact that he is in prison is a huge justification and validation and vindication for me, in the fact that I had been telling people he was a really bad man for quite some time, and no one believed me because he wore a mask so well. I'm hearing watch out for predators if you are in a 12-step program. There are many people who go to those rooms who say that they have a program, and they may sponsor other men and be, like, ooh, they work such a good program, but deep down, they're just using you for what they can get out of you. And again, this is not just a woman problem. There are women predators in the program too. Okay? Be careful of that. If someone is doing service work, it is with the expectation, if it's actual service work and not to gain anything out of you, with the expectation of not getting anything out of it. They are doing it because that is what a good steward does for their fellows. If you smell that they are trying to get some kind of an angle, some wedge in, to take advantage of the situation. Oh, if I do this, she might sleep with me. If I do this, he might pay my bills. Get out. Do not accept the service. And can we please normalize not recommending the services? I don't care if they're an electrician, a plumber, a handyman, whatever. If they are a known predator, you should not be recommending them do service work to help a woman out who's a single woman, and they're going to be going to that woman's house. Okay? That is so fucking blindsided. I cannot. I had someone tell me, "Hey, I've got a plumbing problem right now. Like, I'm doing dishes out in a tub on my front porch." And someone said, "Oh, you should call such and so because there's a plumber. They are a plumber, and they might do it for free or have you pay later." And I said, I have had some predatory experiences with this gentleman, so I'm really uncomfortable doing that. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, you're not the only woman who said it." Normalize not recommending their services to people, please. Jesus Christ. We should not be rewarding these people with avenues of making money so that they have opportunities to take advantage of women who are vulnerable or men who are vulnerable. This is ridiculousness. We need to be taking care of one another if we're actually working a program. And I know he probably said that just because he's maybe never dealt with rape or domestic violence. And no, I'm not saying grape or DV anymore. It's what it is. Quit being scared of truth. Because the only way we're going to get through this truth and actually start to heal as a society is if we actually talk frankly about it. And these are the realities that I had experience with, not just statistics. Okay? So be careful who you take recommendations. If they are someone who, follow up questions. Say, hey, how does this person, are they, do they sexually harass women? Like, what kind of a person is this that you're recommending coming into my home? So you have to be your own advocate because people are just fucking dumb. I am riled up tonight over this. It's taken a day and a half to process what was just suggested for me, because I would rather be doing my dishes out here than to deal with being in a vulnerable situation with a gentleman who wants to take advantage of me, and he's made that very clear. Going back to the person who, and I know I'm throwing a lot at you because I think I'm trying to get it all out so that I can just have this a one and done video, because I don't like sitting in this, because I have recovered and I am thriving now despite the fact that I have a plumbing issue. My life is really good, but for the grace of God. That is one thing I was going to say. No people may be coming to save you, but when you get up and you start turning to prayer, your higher power will move mountains to get you away from that person. I am proof positive that that will happen. Okay? And then afterward, work on yourself. Please don't get into a relationship right away. Please. The likelihood is the only reason why you got in that situation to begin with is because you don't know how to firm up and hold boundaries. They know this. They target you because of that. You have to practice it on platonic friends first. And that takes time and practice, okay? Don't jump into a relationship. It will be your worst nightmare. It'll be just jumping right back into the frying pan. A lot of harsh truths tonight. But if I had not gone through everything that I went through, I wouldn't be able to do this video warning you about what's about to happen. But also telling you that I would, if I was faced with all of what I know now, I would still leave. I would still pack my kids and my pets in my van and drive 4.5 hours away to get away from them. Like, seriously, I had to flee for my own safety because I was so scared of what he was going to do. It's not pretty. It's not easy. But the life you attain when you were forced into saving yourself and turning to a higher power and developing a relationship with it is worth every bit of hardship. And that is the most beautiful thing out of this. I don't know when my true freedom will come, because I am still dealing with the ramifications of what he's done to me financially. I know I will be able to dig myself out, but he's got me tied and kind of by the balls, for lack of a better term, because his business is still on the property. He still owns 40% of the property. He refused to pay taxes to the IRS. Like, all of that bullshit I'm still dealing with. And it's still better than living in that situation. I had been so stressed out and had hardly any money because he wouldn't let me work. And he wasn't giving me enough to pay all the bills. And basically told me to go F myself. That I had, I made sure that the kids ate, but I had gotten down to 86 pounds because I knew I needed my psychiatric meds, and I had no help. And even if I had had food, I don't know that I could have eaten because I was so riddled with anxiety living on the same property as him. So that is my experience. It is hell living with a narcissist. And they're never going to change. They're never going to go seek help unless it's to blame you and make you the victim so that the therapist sits there and coddles their ass. Because a lot of therapists aren't trained in how to identify covert narcissism. Okay? There's more and more that are coming out now. But, they're not going to change. He still, to this day, will not be honest about what he has been sentenced for, how long his sentence is, or wants to even take accountability for anything that he's done. And that's not even to me. And the only reason why he's been held accountable is because he got busted by the GBI for what he did. And this is all public record. And I'm tired of freaking not saying anything. Because there are women out there who need to hear what this is. Because they've been suspecting it for a while, but there are enough flying monkeys and enough people out there telling them that, no, he's really a good guy. The problem is really you. Oh, it's not so bad. Maybe change this about yourself and he'll treat you better. Yeah, I dealt with that. Or worse, the people who say, yeah, you need to leave, we'll help, don't worry, we'll help when it comes time, and then they freaking disappear. Or the help vanishes. All of that stuff happens. You can do this. You can get out. You'll be better for it. You'll be happier. I'm not saying there won't be struggle, but I am saying that there is a higher power out there. And it loves you and it wants better for you. And you are worthy of that love and you are worthy of better. My prayers are with you. If this is you and you've sat and listened to me. And if no one's told you today, know that I genuinely love you and care about you.